Top 92 Plutarch quotes, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Come back with your shield, or on it. I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better." What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality. A Spartan woman, as she handed her son his shield, exhorted him, saying, "As a warrior of Sparta, come back with your shield, or on it." For the wise man, every day is a festival. Proper listening is the foundation of proper living. God is the brave man's hope, and not the coward's excuse. The great god Pan is dead. No beast is more savage than man when possessed with power answerable to his rage. Painting is silent poetry, and poetry is painting that speaks. If I were not Alexander, I would be Diogenes. Rest is the sweet sauce of labor. Know how to listen, and you will profit even from those who talk badly. A good man will take care of his horses and dogs, not only while they are young, but also when they are old and past service. Silence at the proper season is wisdom, and better than any speech. The worship most acceptable to God comes from a thankful and cheerful heart. When Demosthenes was asked what were the three most important aspects of oratory, he answered, action, action, action. Instead of using medicine, better fast today. An imbalance between rich and poor is the oldest and most fatal ailment of all republics. Fate leads him who follows it, and drags him who resists. Caesar's wife should be above suspicion. To make no mistakes is not in the power of man, but from their errors and mistakes the wise and good learn wisdom for the future. Wisdom is neither gold, nor silver, nor fame, nor wealth, nor health, nor strength, nor beauty. A warrior carries his shield for the sake of the entire line. The Spartans do not ask how many are the enemy, but where are they. Those who aim at great deeds must also suffer greatly. It is part of a good man to do great and noble deeds, though he risk everything. To find fault is easy, to do better may be difficult. I see the cure is not worth the pain. Perseverance is more prevailing than violence, and many things which cannot be overcome when they are together, yield themselves up when taken little by little. Spintharus, speaking in commendation of Epaminondas, says he scarce ever met with any man who knew more and spoke less. It is a true proverb that if you live with a lame man, you will learn to limp. The talkative listen to no one, for they are ever speaking. And the first evil that attends those who know not to be silent is that they hear nothing. Wise men are able to make a fitting use even of their enmities. Neither blame or praise yourself. But for the sake of some little mouthful of flesh we deprive a soul of the sun and light, and of that proportion of life and time it had been born into the world to enjoy. Grief is natural, the absence of all feeling is undesirable, but moderation in grief should be observed, as in the face of all good or evil. When the candles are out, all women are fair. A lover's soul lives in the body of his mistress. The measure of a man is the way he bears up under misfortune. Extraordinary rains pretty generally fall after great battles. The whole life of man is but a point of time, let us enjoy it. For the correct analogy for the mind is not a vessel that needs filling, but wood that needs igniting. For it was not so much that by means of words I came to a complete understanding of things, as that from things I somehow had an experience which enabled me to follow the meaning of words. Alexander esteemed it more kingly to govern himself than to conquer his enemies. For the mind does not require filling like a bottle, but rather, like wood, It only requires kindling to create in it an impulse to think independently and an ardent desire for the truth. Learn to be pleased with everything, with wealth so far as it makes us beneficial to others, with poverty, for not having much to care for, and with obscurity, for being unenvied. The omission of good is no less reprehensible than the commission of evil. Where the lion's skin will not reach, you must patch it out with the fox's. When a man's struggle begins within oneself, the man is worth something. When the strong box contains no more, both friends and flatterers shun the door. Nature and wisdom never are at strife. Oh, what a world full of pain we create for a little taste upon the tongue. The whole of life is but a moment of time. It is our duty, therefore, to use it, not to misuse it. The drop hollows out the stone not by strength, but by constant falling. Choose what is best, and habit will make it pleasant and easy. It is wise to be silent when occasion requires, and better than to speak, though never so well. Not by lamentations and mournful chants ought we to celebrate the funeral of a good man, but by hymns, for in ceasing to be numbered with mortals he enters upon the heritage of a diviner life. Anaximander says that men were first produced in fishes, and when they were grown up and able to help themselves were thrown up, and so lived upon the land. Silence is an answer to a wise man. Character is long-standing habit. If you declare that you are naturally designed for such a diet, then first kill for yourself what you want to eat. Do it, however, only through your own resources, unaided by cleaver or cudgel or any kind of axe. That we may consult concerning others, and not others concerning us. No man ever wedded clay and then left it, as if there would be bricks by chance and fortune. The measure of a man's life is the well-spending of it, and not the length. Cicero called Aristotle a river of flowing gold, and said of Plato's dialogues that if Jupiter were to speak, it would be in language like theirs. Nature without learning is blind, learning apart from nature is fractional, and practice in the absence of both is aimless. I am all that hath been, and is, and shall be, and my veil no mortal has hitherto raised. Water continually dropping will wear hard rocks hollow. Grief is like a physical pain which must be allowed to subside somewhat on its own before medical treatment is applied. All men whilst they are awake are in one common world, but each of them, when he is asleep, is in a world of his own. Immoderate grief is selfish, harmful, brings no advantage to either the mourner or the mourned, and dishonors the dead. Men who marry wives very much superior to themselves are not so truly husbands to their wives as they are unawares made slaves to their position. As bees extract honey from thyme, the strongest and driest of herbs, so sensible men often get advantage and profit from the most awkward circumstances. Antisthenes says that in a certain faraway land the cold is so intense that words freeze as soon as they are uttered, and after some time then thaw and become audible, so that words spoken in winter go unheard until the next summer. Socrates said he was not an Athenian or a Greek, but a citizen of the world. The process may seem strange, and yet it is very true. I did not so much gain the knowledge of things by the words, as words by the experience I had of things. Those are greedy of praise prove that they are poor in merit. Solon being asked, namely, what city was best to live in? That city, he replied, in which those who are not wronged, no less than those who are wronged, exert themselves to punish the wrongdoers. What, did you not know, then, that today Lucullus dines with Lucullus? In human life there is constant change of fortune, and it is unreasonable to expect an exemption from the common fate. Life itself decays, and all things are daily changing. Prosperity is no just scale, adversity is the only balance to weigh friends. It is a high distinction for a homely woman to be loved for her character rather than for beauty. Poverty is not dishonorable in itself, but only when it comes from idleness, intemperance, extravagance, and folly. Reason speaks and feeling bites. Nor let us part with justice, like a cheap and common thing, for a small and trifling price. Nothing is cheap which is superfluous, for what one does not need is dear at a penny. Among real friends there is no rivalry or jealousy of one another, but they are satisfied and contented alike whether they are equal or one of them is superior. The real destroyer of the liberties of the people is he who spreads among them bounties, donations, and benefits. Of all the disorders in the soul, envy is the only one no one confesses to. The richest soil, if uncultivated, produces the rankiest weeds. The very spring and root of honesty and virtue lie in good education. Nothing made the horse so fat as the king's eye. Vultures are the most righteous of birds, they do not attack even the smallest living creature. Fate, however, is to all appearance more unavoidable than unexpected. Evidence of trust begets trust, and love is reciprocated by love. For he who gives no fuel to fire puts it out, and likewise he who does not in the beginning nurse his wrath and does not puff himself up with anger takes precautions against it, and destroys it. He who owns 100 sheep must fight with 50 wolves.